What is up, guys? Dawn here, your girl, showing you how to draw Kendrick Lamar. I'm going to show you how I progressed onto drawing his face. We're going to be drawing his face from a frontal point of view, which is a lot more easier, in my opinion, than drawing 3/4. Because 3/4, you got to worry about your dimensions and the perspective of the face to make sure it looks like, you know, it's turned away from the viewer. So what I start with in all my front-facing portraits are the bridges of the nose, the eyebrows, and what I like to do when I make the eyebrows, I like to draw them in lightly and then use really thin lines to kind of simulate the look of brow hair. But I don't overdo it because it kind of looks weird when you overdo the lines for the brows. Depends on how bushy the brows are. Then I like to start with, I don't know why, I always start with the right eye. Which I think it's because I'm right-handed. So I start with the right eye and just usually start with the upper lid and then the pupil and underneath the lower lid. And then he has really bagged looking under eyes. So I kept that in mind and just kind of highlighted that a bit, but not too much. And then I draw his lips, which are kind of semi-slanted. And then again, using swift, thin brush strokes that are very close together, I draw his mustache. And like I always say in most of my portrait videos, or just any video for that matter, I always start, or I always draw with thick lines to define the outside face shapes or the outside shape for any kind of creature, person, face, whatever. And then I use really thin lines for the definition on the inside of that subject that kind of is in the inside encompass of the face shape or body part or whatever it is. It just adds variety to the drawing and it makes it look a lot better, and you're not really like confused as to which part of the subject to look at, you know what I mean? He has kind of like cornrows, so I kind of, from the front it's kind of hard, but he always has these two hanging cornrows from the sides right in front of his ears, so keep that in mind when you're drawing his hair. And because we're viewing him like dead on, you're not going to see much ear details, so use slight definition in the ears. So I'm going to work on his collar and his shirt, shoulders, and I like to keep it simple. I'm not going to draw any kind of specific pattern on his shirt, just, you know, just the shape of the shirt. You guys can add any kind of pattern you want to it. And then again, using thin, swift brush strokes, I'm drawing defining lines that kind of separate the look of his cornrows. Now that we got the drawing aspect done, we can head on over and watch the process of how I colored. And this one actually took 30 minutes to color in real time, unlike Abel from the Weeknd. Kendrick, I was shooting for around 30 minutes. I did it in exactly well, not exactly, but I did it in 31 minutes, which wasn't bad. But again, I always start with flat base color that isn't too dark, isn't too light, because I can build upon my highlights, and if I wanted to put some dark really dark shadows on there, I'd be able to, and it wouldn't, you know, interfere with the different tones that I'm going to be building onto that. But start with a neutral toned base color, and then just build on it. That's the easiest way to do it, literally. That's how all the pros do it. Some pros, though, they start with like a really dark base color, and then they'll just build highlights onto it, and then once the highlights are all in their places, they'll go back and etch in darker shadows if they need to. But what I'm doing is I'm just laying my flat base colors. That's all I'm doing. And then later I'll go in and, you know, find a reference of him, pinpoint where the highlights and shadows are hitting his face, and then just go to town and totally like shade in the parts of his face that need to be shaded and highlighted. And I love doing the highlights. The highlights is like the funnest part of the process, seriously. I get so addicted to highlights just because it's like putting makeup. It's putting makeup on. It's like my inner girl talking to you. You know, the background, because of his shirt was like palm tree looking or ferns or whatever, I wanted to make a background that kind of, you know, took that same theme and kind of unified the whole drawing by using that palm tree look. What I did was I started with a base color, again, like a darkish reddish gray base color, and then I went in and added some highlights behind his head, and then I took my eraser tool and erased parts of the highlights, the shapes of the palm trees, and then I added gradually just some darker spots of the shadows just to bring out that background a bit. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was another fun one. I had so much fun drawing him. I had a lot more fun coloring Kendrick Lamar than I did with Abel. Don't forget to check the description in the video for important, cool new things like my personal Facebook page, which has a lot of cool updates as to what I'm working on. And I'll even put the step-by-step tutorials where you could learn how to draw this at your own pace and just using the video as a reference. Subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that bell icon so you get an update every single time when I come with a video, because I'm going to be submitting these hardcore almost every day. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned and stay sharp.